All right, speakers. Speakers are going to really love this tool. I use it all the time. Let's see. Let me walk through a little bit of how this works. So we have the two languages, right? Why do we have two there? Well, in PBS, we know that no matter how many languages you're qualified in, PBS will only use two per bid period. So you have to set that. So if you have multiple languages, this is where you can search for these. So I'm Italian and Portuguese, for example. So if I search for Italian in this column, in number one, it's showing all of the Italian speaker qualified flight attendants at the airline completely, all of the bases, right? And then you see right down here, this person is Italian and French. So we can kind of switch it up a little bit. What if we put Italian in the other column instead, just to see what comes up there? So now we get Spanish first and then Italian and some other ones. So, it's in your interest if you're doing this research to search in both of the columns. And then maybe I'm wondering about how many Portuguese and Italian speakers there are at the company. And we can look through here. There's actually just 3 pages of us, so there's not that many. And you can kind of flip through the pagination just to see what's going on. That's just to give you an idea of how the first part works and the qualifications, right? But what we're mostly interested in, I'm going to clear this out. What we're mostly interested in is finding about what are the seniorities of the speakers that are holding trips at different bases in case we're wanting to transfer around, right? So again, we have 2 required languages because some of our trips do require more than one language speaker on them. So let's start with Italian. Now in this column, we're not actually going to write the word Italian. It's using the code, either the language code, like IT is for Italian, CM is for Chinese Mandarin, KO is for Korean, GE is German. That's what we're going to be using, right? So you'll see as soon as I put in IT, it pops up that we have 1 Italian speaker that's required on this sequence from Charlotte, right? Some of them require 2. I can put the 2 in front of it just to see what's going on as well. But if I just leave the IT, it's going to bring everything up there. And maybe I'm wondering about what's going on at LaGuardia only, because I'm thinking of maybe transferring over there. Okay, well, we have our seniorities here. This is from top down seniority. So I want to see who's the most junior. I'm going to click the sorting column here and I see, wow, I could actually hold an Italian trip in LaGuardia. That's very good. Over here, we can clear this out here and see what happens if we pull up Italian on this side. Nothing. Okay, so there aren't any trips that are requiring some other language and Italian at LaGuardia. But let's go over to, I'm going to keep Italian over here. Let's go over to Philly. See what's going on here. So great, over here as well, I'd still be holding an Italian trip, right? If I switch this over to French, let's see what happens. Okay, we've got this trip right here that I would be holding as well. They need 1 French speaker, and over here is 1 German speaker, right? So this is where we come into the GE using the second column. So these are all of the trips that require both French and German, and we can look at those seniorities here. And again, we can see how many pages. There's 26 pages that require both French and German out of Philly. We can also look for, let's clear these out. I'm just going to use the clear filter to clear all of them. Let's see about Chinese Mandarin. Okay, so here we get into this combinations of Chinese Mandarin and Korean, right? And this is the seniorities at Dallas. Yeah, there's a lot you can do with this for researching. If you're having, some ideas of switching around to different bases, you have to keep in mind, though, October is kind of a transition month. A lot of things are just winding down. So November is going to be very different. December, especially in Philly, you have to keep all of that in mind. This is very historical data, but it's a great tool that we can use over time.